Welcome back to the barn. This piece of equipment sitting here behind me is the outcome of an online justification session. Normal people call them an internet auction. I want to see if I can use this Mini X to help me process some firewood. Come on, let's go do something, even if it's wrong. What I have is the AGT DM13C, which I don't know what all that means, but this one comes with a full cab, does have a swing boom, and the hydraulically controlled thumb, which I thought was pretty cool. A lot of the other ones at the auction don't have all those amenities, and we're going for a similar price to this one. So I'll do a real quick walk around. I know there's probably a ton of better information or videos out there on these things, so you guys can take care of those, but I kind of want to focus this on just seeing if it's useful for wood splitting. I got some other attachments for it that might make it kind of interesting, so we'll see. Like I said, it's got the hydraulic thumb, swing boom. Already got a stick wedged in there. It's great. Foot pedal operates the auxiliaries. Got choke, hydraulic, reservoir, voltmeter, lots of controls. Look, comes with AC. Not really. And one little window, and then the door opens. I think the cab will be nice for dust, but I do think that it's going to be maybe a bit of a hot box on a sunny day. We'll have to see if the door is going to stay on or anything like that. This thing is powered by a Briggs & Stratton, supposedly. I don't know, I'm kind of weirded out by the fact that like the symbols don't say anything. They're just kind of stamped in there. I don't know. It says it on the sticker, so it can't be wrong. And look at that sticker. You know what that means? Somebody paid to have a sticker that says that. I don't think it actually means anything. So, we'll make our way in my manicured wood lot. I got 2 stacks of logs in there that I think this is going to be, well, I'm hoping this is going to be useful for me processing some firewood. So if you're looking for a quick, smooth, quiet operating unit, you better keep shopping. If you're looking for something that'll probably save a little bit off of your wear and tear on your back, I think this is going to be the ticket. Obviously, it's not the fastest, not the best. I think for the price point, this is going to fill my needs just fine. But here's the proving ground. Let's see what we can make it do. All right, first things first, let's clear path. Put the blade down. Got a nice working height now. All right, left that last one a little long, but can manage with that. Go for that big one. that's perfect. Idiot.
That's the secret, is keeping it close to you, obviously. Oh, turn it on. So what I should do is put all the ones that I don't have cut all the way up over here, not drop them on my saw.
Both my GoPros died, I don't know how long ago. But this is about 30 minutes worth of work. So with one man, being me, jumping in and out, still goes pretty good. The downside of, I have a Bobcat with a grapple bucket. You can pick up the grapple or the log with a grapple real nice, pick it up, put it over whatever height you want. But I have a door on the Bobcat. You got to have the forks either all the way up or all the way down. Well, when they're all the way down, it doesn't make any difference in cutting the wood on the ground, so you don't really have any sort of advantage. So it's a two-person gig. This here, I can hop in and out of this thing real quick. Well, real quick might be slightly a exaggeration, but you saw my blazing speed, and you know, I treat this body like a temple. Maybe more like a corner saloon. The only hiccup I had, you'll probably see it. It's ridiculous. I picked up too big of a log, too far out reach with the boom when I wasn't orientated, like basically at the blade. I had the skid sideways, and it started to tip, and I knew it wasn't going to tip. I just was going to, the machine was going to tip over until the log hit the ground, so I wasn't panicking. But it hit the ground pretty hard and catapulted my mush straight into the window. Actually, I can see the greasy spot I smashed my face into, which in turn smashed my sunglasses into my nose, which in turn, I'm sure I'm going to get a talking to from the bride later. Justifiably so. I'm an idiot. But all in all, this is actually going pretty stinking good. If we had my daughters out here stacking, or you know, pulling these, putting them in a rack or into the log splitter, this would go real quick. So, is it faster than me normally doing it? It's not really faster, but certainly easier. You know, I'm not in the dirt, I'm not leaning over, I get the logs about what height I want. When I get a bigger space, I can probably pivot and not being piled up on top, because that was one thing I was walking around some logs right by the machine. But all in all, I'm liking it. All right, so it's the next night. Got a couple hours, so I figured I might as well split what I can. Here's my setup. I usually grab the rounds, run them through my 20-year-old log splitter, a couple modifications, and then I move them and stack them in the firewood rack. That way I only have to touch the logs once after they're split. These racks originally were called tire racks, I believe, T-Y-R-E. They just fasten to a standard, well, actually, I was gonna say standard size pallet, but there's a couple different sizes. Usually I'm splitting. I got one daughter that's stacking or feeding me logs, and then the other one is loading up the deal, and I'm able to move with the Bobcat. And the next time I touch it, I'm either loading it straight into the wood stove or into my rolling log cart. So it's been a few days, actually a week, a little over a week since I split that wood. Now I'm going to try to transition this baby in to help me out for the big rounds. Now I'm going to change attachments on the front of this Mini X to something that I think might be quite a benefit to have. It's a conical cone style splitter that goes on the front of the Mini X, uses the auxiliary hydraulics to spin and splits it apart. Supposedly this baby has enough flow to handle that. It all came from the same auction. It didn't come with quite the right fittings to hook up to this auxiliary block. You can change from A port to B port. But luckily, my mouse finger was a little itchy on the day of the online auction, so I bought a couple other lots of things, and one of which had the same style hose, so I get to rob parts from there to make that work. This is my way to fix that with a Band-Aid at the moment. Let me get you set up. I'm gonna figure out what size those nuts are to get the 2 bolts off on the bucket. Those are metric. I don't have any metric sizes, so I'm either going to use a crescent wrench or a big standard size that may or may not work. That's step 1 of maybe 17. All right, let's see how this goes. All right, if this isn't abundantly apparent, I've never done this before. So I don't really know how heavy. That wasn't super tight either. I don't really know how heavy this bucket is. I don't know what I should be expecting. So if you're looking to do this, 1.5 inch socket from China will work. It's not the right size, but it will work. Okay, I better get a hammer. See which way the best way to lose my fingers are. All right, couldn't make up my mind if I wanted a claw hammer or rubber mallet. So I grabbed them both. All right, so now I got my crowbar that I think was made out of softened lead. Yeah, I'm gonna need a punch too, aren't I? So I can get that stuck in there. All right, safety glasses. Which one do I do first, you think? Which way is it going to fall or tip? Oh, it's greased. Halfway decent at least. All right. That is disengaged. As you can see, I got this armband on. I donated blood today. Double red cells. Yeah. I'm O negative. I got good veins. I'll say it's my one contribution to society. I don't make a lot of money. I don't donate a lot of money to different charities or things of that nature. So I regularly schedule my life-saving blood donation. I know it's not a ton, but at least it's something. I'm up to like, dang it, I don't know exactly. I want to say 8 or 9 gallons. So, which at first I was like, it's not that much, but look at it, 2 5-gallon pails, that's a decent amount. So find your nearest blood center. Why don't you sign up? It's not that hard. It takes like 20 minutes. Honestly, it's probably faster than that if you do just a regular blood donation. With my type of blood, they like the double red cells. It takes a little longer, but you're able to spread out your trips twice as long in between. So that's a bonus for me. So whenever you're done giving blood, they give you some tips when you leave. Drink lots of water. No heavy lifting. Yeah, sure thing. Get some good rest. but the sun's still up. And don't skip any meals. You got yourself a deal, Doc. I need to get the boom up about yay high. I think that's right. Must be. Oh, lift at your back. Oh, that's not nearly high enough. Oh, a talented person would probably have this all figured out or know what they're doing, but or not video themselves the first time they're doing it. That seems the most logical, actually. What do I need to do? Up, down? All right, hit it, Alice. I'm gonna look at the clock, see how long this is taking me. So far, it's pretty good. So I got the nuts on these two, snugged up. Now I gotta run the hoses from there, one up to this port, and one up to this port. They do have a little plug on there, so I'll get that out of there. I'll show you later, but I took the door off because that baby has a decent amount of, there's a term for it? Back end, butt draft. Yeah, what do you call that? Rear swing? Is that what it is? Swing clearance? Clearance? I'm sweaty. Oh boy. So sweaty. No. Gotta go shopping in the big drawer. All right, I got these hoses haphazardly snugged up. Maybe I should bungee them or something. They're kind of out there in no man's land. There's no loop like on a Bobcat or something to put these things. So, all right, I think I'm ready to give this thing the maiden voyage. Voyage might be a strong term. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start it, pick it up, and see if I can make it spin. Hopefully no hoses blow off. Hopefully I don't lose all my fluid. I don't know. Holler if you see something, okay? I think I'd consider that a success. The only complaint is I do think I would like to switch those hydraulic lines one way or the other, because I would prefer to push forward on this pedal to make it spin the way I want to split. Right now I gotta push down on the back part of the pedal in order to get it to spin the way I want, and that's just slightly less ergonomic. Hey, I want what I want, okay? And I'm saying this without ever spending a second working this thing. So maybe I'm gonna like it this way. I don't know. That's what trial and error, and a little more trial is about. All right, I'm gonna try to do a quick little recap here. I did a recap the day I split it in time lapse. So I have about 30 seconds of pictures of me going around. So let's see if I remember what the heck I said. As you can probably see from the video, I used my Axaroon that I made that if you don't have one, you should probably look into it. It's awesome. I had an extra double-bladed axe, so I just took a grinder one afternoon and customized it, put that little hook on it so I'm able to snag the smaller logs and fling them up onto my log splitter. So I split it, didn't have to touch it, threw it into the log rack, as you see there. I don't recall, I think total, including busting my face off the glass, was about an hour. And I was a straight up rookie running that machine. So I got, I'll call it, that's probably a good third of a cord of woods, you know, chunked up through the splitter and into the wood rack. So I think that's pretty good. I think with a little bit of work, I can definitely expedite the process, or if I get one of my kids proficient enough to pick up the logs and swing them. Otherwise, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think I can shave some time off for sure working it by myself, or at least be set up in a way that's way more organized than this gong show I have going on here right now. So now I'm gonna get this log rack out of here and scoot the excavator down here and see if I can screw some of these up. See what I did there? Yeah, I forgot to show you. I removed the door because the door's hinged here, flips way out. It comes out way out yonder. It's I don't know. When you're in the trees, in the thick of it, it's just a little too much. So I figured at this point it's better to pull it off and leave it sitting in the corner versus me snapping it off and the machine making the choice for me. All right, hopefully you can hear me. It took me a half hour to trek down the hill from my shed, which is 32 feet away. I think I'm in a decent enough spot. I don't trust putting my GoPro on the outside of the machine, so it might be a little rough. We'll see how I do. You know what I'll do? I'll swing. Swing my boom to the side. Hopefully you can see a little bit. Actually, I should do it the other way. That way there's not a windshield wiper. One thing I noticed is the height is not super impressive. Now I seem to have done it. Got her stuck in the crotch and not really enough weight or anything solid to like push this thing against to spin it. Now I gotta figure out what the best way to remedy this situation is. I wonder if I can wedge it closer to me, get more leverage pushing down. Maybe that's what I gotta do, get stuck on a couple of these things. All right, let's see if I can give that a shot.
Never a doubt.
Well, I would definitely say that has a slight learning curve to it. And again, how do I say this nicely? I'm a terrible operator. I only had the one hang up. No, that's not true. I had a couple minor hang ups where they got stuck on. Well, I could probably split that one again. But I don't think it was too bad. Oh, although I don't know if I got them all split totally in half. Like this one, I only got one chunk off. This one, not quite. So maybe I need to do a better job of finishing it off. I'm going to say at this point the jury is still out. It's getting a little late. Maybe give this another shot tomorrow night. Maybe I'll pick some more out of this pile and see if I can, I don't know, better my score a little bit. Then I can give it a little more of an honest answer. All right, so it's been a few days, actually a little over a week. We had a little family vacation. I wasn't totally impressed with the outcome of how this worked the other day, but I need to give it another shot. I got to give it a fair shake. I'm a total rookie. Maybe I didn't have it, I don't know, set up right as far as the location to the logs or things of that nature. I mean, I know I have it mounted on the boom correctly, but other than that, maybe it needs less throttle, less horsepower. That's silly. Why would I even say such a thing? One thing that happened is rattled the seat loose on me. The bolts that hold it to the track came out, so I found 2 of the 4 and got them put back on there. So now it won't be quite like I'm bucking a Bronco. Maybe now I can hold on for longer than 8 seconds. So I made up my mind to give it another shot, and we'll give it a fair shake, and we'll critique it at the end. Critique it. Run through my thoughts after I'm all said and done with this next go around of wood splitting. That's a problem. Well, as you might have been able to tell over all the racket, that did not go how I had planned. Got a little bit too deep, put a kink in this line, created a leak. That's a bummer, huh? So this trial run didn't do anything to really sweeten my take on the old screw type log splitter on the end of this mini excavator. A couple reasons. Well, lots of reasons. One reason is there seems to be quite a bit of play in the attachment itself. It's swinging, takes a lot of finesse in order to get the, you know, you're trying to screw that into a side of a round log. So the log wants to roll. You gotta be pretty much on top, otherwise you gotta try to swing the boom. And finesse with these machines is not really the name of the game. It works the best doing one action at a time. Well, is that true? I don't know. It works the fastest doing one action at a time. So if you have the screw going and you try to swing or do something different, it's kind of slow, but as soon as you let off of one thing, it picks up the speed on the other action. So there's a little bit of a learning curve there, I think, that I obviously haven't learned. Yeah, it's loud, it's noisy, it's not fast, but the other thing that it has going, what I would say against it, is the weight. you don't have the weight to push down on the log to get it to hold into place. You do in a perfect situation, but the more you push, you can just tip this thing right over backwards, even if you have it set up with the blade on the back. You'd have to be in a pretty darn good position and have the logs that are nice and dry and able to pop. I just don't think it's worth the investment into this thing, at least at this point in time with this machine. I think like the money that you spend on this splitter, you can probably get a log lift or something like that put on your splitter. I think that's probably an easier way to go. You can chunk up those big rounds, roll them, or if you're fortunate enough to have a bobcat or something, get it close to the splitter, get it there, and then use that thing to lift it up to that way you can use the larger chunks on your log splitter. I know that's kind of the, you want to work smarter, not harder. I just don't think, this might be slightly smarter, but as far as production time goes, this isn't going to save you any time, I don't think, at all. Maybe this attachment can be customized in a way, like I like the idea of it swinging, but at the same time, that creates a challenge. So I feel like if this was on the Bobcat, stationary, is this, you know, not swinging as much, I think that would be easier for the operator in order to get it over the log, pinpoint where you want it, and then you can, you know, easily adjust the Bobcat. Because the Bobcat, at least my Bobcat, doesn't have that same sort of issue of it bogging, doing multiple tasks at the same time. So I'm not gonna say this is a rave review of this whole setup. I don't hate this mini excavator, at least compared to what it costs for, you know, any name brand other things, Mini X, but I just don't think that's going to be the favorite attachment of mine to go on there. So, hey, you win some, you lose some. I tend to lose a lot more than I win, I feel like, but I think that's just the nature of the beast. That's life. You roll with the punches. Thanks for sticking with me through this down and dirty review of some stuff I purchased on online auction that I probably don't need. Definitely don't need. And at this point, I'll say thanks for watching.